Hey guys, this is Jason for the Lines Project. What I wanted to share with you guys, this comet was a couple years back, right? Trying to show you guys what it says. I'm noticing about every 2, 3, 4, 5 years, every so often, we have a comet that appears around Christmas time, around New Year's. Uh, really, really something neat, and it was when you consider at that point, just say, here, let me pull up the program. We'll just go ahead and do it that way. Okay, so when you come into December, I like having it like this. Around there. Okay, so pretend that December is north, right? Around December 21st. So let's move this guy up here. Let's just around that, right? So we'll put that as north, right? So this is the equinox, you know, the equinoxes, and this is the solstice. Okay, we're going to just use that for our cardinal directions: north, south, east, west, right? Well, every year when we get near to close to December, right, they have this mysterious comet, or these comets, and these comets and comets and comets. They call them different comets. They call them different names. But I've been noticing that I'm getting the same trajectory on these comets. And if you're clever, you can guess.
Welcome to the latest edition of Hot Seconds with Jax. Let's meet.
You can guess what constellation it comes out of, usually. All right. And if you look here, we can see that Orion is right there. Okay. These things, every time we get closest to the constellation of Orion, sometimes 2 years, sometimes 3 years, sometimes 4 years, sometimes 5 years, sometimes 1 year. Okay. But heavily, it's 2012, Christmas Day. 2013, we had one around December. 2014, we had one from around the 21st, we could view. This year, we're having one on New Year's Day. Green comet popping out, supposed to be beside the moon, be able to see with your naked eye. Every time, it is when we are closest to Orion, as I've told you guys before. I showed you guys those planetary alignments. Now, when we go into the September 23rd date that I've showed you guys, we see that Orion's here, right? Jupiter's over here. Let's get that up. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. 23 date, right? There, Jupiter's there. There's Virgo. You can see here's Orion, you know, in reference to everything. Point being, let me get the realistic here. Saturn, southwest sky. It's northeast. Right there it is. So 9 stars in the Leo, the 3, obviously. The sun cloaking her. Jupiter getting ready to exit the womb. Moon at the feet. In between the moon and Jupiter, Comet 67p. The dragon has sprouted its wings, right? I don't believe for a second that all these comets that they cleverly put in certain places and this and that are really what they say they are, or maybe those comets are real, but they give a false trajectory at times for certain alignments to give certain explanations to explain things away. So basically say, if I name 3 points of light that are real, they exist, they travel around, but I eschew the data just a little bit, just enough to place a light in the sky at a certain time, at a certain angle, then you understand that what's going on there is trying to explain it away, right? The thing that I'm having a hard time dealing with is when we watch this comet come in on New Year's Eve night, I believe that we can look at it and see it. If this was well, I guess we'll just go to it. It's supposed to be right around here. The comet is supposed to be right around there somewhere. Now, if you look at it, we got Ophiuchus, the dragon, right? We got the 12 constellations. Each constellation dividing up about a month when the sun rises through it. Not all equally having the same amount of time. And the dragon itself was supposedly never had a place because it flew around the sky causing chaos. That was the idea, right? 13, like I said, rebirth, regeneration, death, life. It's the completion and the rebirth of the cycle. That's what the 13, the Ophiuchus, the dragon, the serpent symbol, eating its tail, all that. That's what it meant. Okay, so when you go into that, we have Ophiuchus, we have Sagittarius. Often Sagittarius was called the hidden 13th symbol, but really it's Ophiuchus because, as you can see, Saturn is in that constellation. There's not much in that constellation for very long. It can only pass through it for a very short amount of time. But we know from ancient history that seemed very, very important to them. They were trying to tell us something. So I just wanted to share that. Yeah, these comets, Inky, Ison, all these things. You think about that, they're the original Holy Trinity, you know. It's really a lot to take in when you think about all this stuff, and people see that it's Egyptian ties, and then we see that the Egyptians actually borrowed these from Sumerian terms and made their own little pantheon with their own names, but it's all still there. I really believe that these comets that they're trying to show us are not what they say they are. Coming out of the path of, let's see here. This was Comet Lovejoy trying to look at, yeah, popped out of Orion's feet, right? Okay, so let's go back. All right, so the comet that we're looking at this time is called 45p Honda, right? So it's saying that we won't be able to see it till basically New Year's Eve night. if you look, we have the declination, negative 23, negative 22. Do you remember what I was trying to tell you guys back about the Nebra sky disk? And well, how look at any globe that you had as a child and the tilt on it, right? Why is the Earth kind of tilted? You know, when you're a kid, you ask those questions. And you realized, oh, wait, if you put a light source in the center of that and you just spin that thing in a circle around it, there's going to be some times when the southern hemisphere is closer and the northern hemisphere is closer. It's what gives us the seasons. Okay? I want you to see that that is actually perfectly matched. Right there, negative 23.37. That is literally the tilt of the Earth almost. Okay? So this thing's coming in at an angle that correlates with the tilt of the Earth, right? Something also very, very interesting to look at. And if you look, most of these declinations are positive. There's a negative one from the pan stars, right? So what we'll do is we'll search this. So here's the comet path where it's supposed to be. All right. So here in about 2 weeks, it'll be coming through. Well, okay. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was on the right thing. So what they're saying is that, which is interesting. Right. So I can. Looking at the slingshot here. What's really strange about this, it goes with that same theory we're talking about there, and I don't want to eat my own words here, is, exactly what I was telling you. Like we got pan stars, right? It says it goes wee, 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 wee. You see what it's doing here. Got the whole crazy retrograde movement there, right? But what it's saying is that's it's so strange. That comet is actually going to be two or three. I mean, not even that far. Like I don't know how to measure increments in the sky like this when you're viewing it, but it'd be less than like a thumbnail away if you were to hold your thumb up in the sky from the position of a known comet that we already track all the time called Pan-STARRS, right? If we look just below, we see Comet 67p. This thing is supposed to come across here, go down, and come back around, right towards Virgo. Okay, so it passes through and goes back towards Virgo, right to where we're looking for. So if you just give it about 9 months, it should be there, right? It's in my assumption, depending on the rotation, our viewpoint, and where we are in our rotation, right? So when you look at that, you see blatantly that right there is where the comet should be, around the 27th, I'm guessing. And they give you the plot. Slingshots around, you can see it. So what we'll do is See, this is what I was telling you. I'm trying to read the very end date there. This is around September. Okay, so consider the path here, right? The only point of interest, the only point on the whole thing that they didn't give us was the section between Virgo, correct? So we have 9 months to get from let's say what? Here 10. Yeah, I would just say that it'll be there, right? We got 3 months maybe from this aspect, looks like it. And if it was going the opposite way, which we know it's not, it would have just about the same. I mean, look, depending on the speed and all that. But what the point of the story is, they want us to watch these comets. They always pop out at a certain time of year from certain constellations around the same part in the sky. That is not coincidence. Okay? They're trying to explain these lights with tails and strings, you know, the million miles of coma coming off of this thing, the plasma field. It's amazing. There you go. That's a little bit more of a past representation of it. All right, so looks like that's going. I guess that's the magnitude. Magnitude will be the greatest when it, and then I guess the closest around 1st of January. We won't be able to see it with our naked eye until New Year's Eve. These are a stacking of 20-second exposures. Let's see if we can get that to pull up real quick. But what's honest is what I told you about Comet 67p, not 45p, right? We have 67, we have 45. 67 was subject to the Rosetta missions. And they told us that this thing, I've actually showed you 3D models of it. They told us that this thing is actually almost one object with 2 spheres in it, right? And kind of looked like an apple core that had a bite taken out of it, if you will. My PC usage is high because of this mirroring system I'm using. Yeah, so there's a stacking of 20 unfiltered 20-second exposures. Wham, that's what we're looking at. Here's the picture of it. This tail right here, you can see it stretches out for millions of miles. See how the plots of it were showing you with the movement, 2006, 2007-ish. I have no idea what this is unless it's magnitude. What I wanted to show you is this time when it comes through, I'd really like to get a better diagram to show you because it's not popping up in most of my software. There you go, that's pretty good. We are the third rock from the sun, or the red one here. Okay. What they're trying to explain is this time when it comes through is going to be coming, and it's going to be closest to Earth right here. Okay. When it's closest to Earth, it's going to be in between the sun and the Earth. Point blank with this line is that is the ecliptic. That is the plane that all these other lines sit on. That is the flat table surface that you're seeing. This is the same parallel level and flatness as these lines, okay? That's what it's trying to derive to you. Showing you that this is coming in at an angle from above, dipping a little below. Point of that is when it hits here, it's going to be equal to our plane. It's going to be the closest to Earth, and it's going to be on the same ecliptic with us and the sun. You know how a comet works? They are basically just conductors, electrical capacitors, if you will. Planets being batteries, and these things just come around, it gets charged, it discharges it as it hits the sun and goes back out, collecting charge again. This could cause really, really, really bad electromagnetic pulses and EMF and CMEs and all kinds of solar activity directed right at us. A lot of these things happen when comets come, and they go way bigger and way larger, many, many, many times larger than our sun. So you can just picture a plume of coming off and hitting this thing and shooting it right at us. It could affect our phone lines, internet lines, cable, all that, our communications, satellites, everything. If that happens, that would be a very tough time for people in the northern hemisphere going through winter. People that have, just want to enjoy the holidays. But need to do is pull up a couple more little images if we can. Here, that was the gift. And what misconception is commonly thought about comets is the tail. They think the tail is actually shooting out behind it. In reality, there's just the sun is pushing off so much cosmic rays and invisible energy that you can just say, at all times where the sun is. So the sun is over here somewhere, okay? This thing is moving, obviously, and it's patterned like this way. So the tail, you would think, would be going this way if that was the case, but it's not. It's actually melting and blasting it off with cosmic rays because there's no atmosphere around it, only a plasma field. And the plasma field is created by the oncoming and bombardment of these cosmic rays. So don't let the tail fool you. That was a nice, interesting one, right? You see the two comas? But yeah, if you look here, they're saying 9/23 of this year, it'll be around Libra, heading towards Virgo. Right now, at this very moment, we could I think that was that might be an image of the comet. But see how they have the odd shapes with these ones? When the ones we're focusing on, they always have these very odd shapes. And they're always almost like two objects melded as one. And I think that's just so they can give you these appearances of tails. Explain away things. There you go. That's from the Rosetta mission. It's Comet 67p. That's the one that appears at the feet of Virgo, in between the moon and Jupiter, ready to devour the moon, or ready to devour Jupiter. The mission, interesting enough, was called Rosetta. And that's kind of like what I was talking about when I was talking about that image. You can see this moon. You can see that it obviously wasn't our moon. Our moon would have been a lot larger in the video. And then you can see the sun. And you see these chemtrails just jetting across it. They're trying to block our view of it. But basically, I wanted to share that with you. You'll be able to watch it New Year's Eve night. So everybody, get out your binoculars, your cameras, or whatever you want, and let's go ahead and do this. But this was the interesting thing that I was recently learning. Right after the 9/20, right before the 9/23 event, we have the Great American Eclipse. Okay, so when it hits, you can see that it divides America with a full eclipse. Anybody north of this line right here basically will be able to see a full eclipse. Partial eclipse for all of the United States. Everybody in the US will be able to see this eclipse 1 month before the 9/23 sign. It could very well be one of the prophetic signs that we were looking for, I believe. I think Eternal Rhythm Flow was the one that actually brought this piece of information to my attention. I'm watching that on Rex channel, so shout out to him. It's awesome. But yeah, all these signs, all these things, all these collaborations, and if you pay attention to these artifacts, like the first artifact ever found, like with the pyramid and the all-seeing eye, literally was inlaid with gold glue in the black light, had pre-Sanskrit writing on it that said, "From the son of the creator he comes," and then had a star chart of Orion on the bottom. Very, very interesting. I believe it was Orion that was on the bottom of it anyways. But when you just look at that type of stuff, it's amazing to me. So I hope you guys see the correlation between all this stuff, and hopefully it wasn't just a bunch of nonsensical rambling. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. Thanks.